Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Madhyanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakya Chakshumritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamina Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunvati Pashyati Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll start with chapter 9, Chaitanya Charitamrita and Lila, Deliverance of Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka. The innumerable glorious followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought a constant flood to the desert-like hearts of the unfortunate with an inundation of ecstatic love. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most merciful incarnation. All glories to Lord Nityananda, whose heart is always compassionate. All glories to Advaitacharya, who is very merciful. All glories to the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are always overwhelmed by transcendental bliss. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at Nilachal, Jagannath Puri, with his personal associate devotees, always merged in ecstatic love for Krishna. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during the last periods of his sannyas, he is in Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always felt the wave of separation from Krishna. That's called the Vipralambha Bhav, externally and internally. His mind and body were agitated by various spiritual transformations. During the day, he chanted, danced, and saw Lord Jagannath at the temple. At night, he tasted transcendental bliss in the company of Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. That's Lalita and Vishaka Sati, People from the three worlds used to come visit Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyone who saw him received the transcendental treasure of love for Krishna. The inhabitants of 7 higher planetary systems, including the demigods, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, and the inhabitants of 7 lower planetary systems, Paṭṭanāyaka, including demons and the serpentine living entities, all visited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the dress of human beings. So all the demigods and everybody came to take darshan, because that's a very rare darshan to have a combined form of Radha Krishna. Dressed in different ways, people from the 7 islands and 9 khandas visited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, Vyasdev, Shukadev Goswami, and other great sages came to visit Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Upon seeing him, they became unconscious in ecstatic love for Krishna. Just imagine if Vyasdev have to come. Is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas? So how great Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in a combined form. Being unable to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the populace outside his room would make a tumultuous sound. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go outside and tell them, chant Hare Krishna. So this is what even Jagannath is doing. Like Jagannath Radha-yatra, like the other religious people are not supposed to enter the temple, or the foreigners are not supposed to enter the temple. Now, how will they take darshan of Krishna, Jagannath? So Jagannath himself will come out. On Radha Yatra, anybody can come and take darshan of the Lord. So this is how the Lord is so merciful that he go out and give darshan. All kind of people would come to see the Lord, and upon seeing him, they would be overwhelmed with ecstatic love for Krishna. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed his days and nights. One day, people suddenly came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and informed him, Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, the son of Bhavananda Raya, has been condemned to death by Badajana, the eldest son of the king, and has been raised on the Ganja. The Badajana has placed sword beneath the platform, they said, and will throw Gopīnātha upon them. O Lord, only if you protect him will he be saved. Bhavananda Raya and his entire family are your servants. Therefore, it's quite fitting for you to have a son of, you save the son of Bhavananda Raya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, why is the king chastising him? Thereupon the people described the entire incident. They said, Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, the brother of Ramananda Raya, has always been a treasurer for the government. He served in the place known as Malajatya. Dantapada, soliciting the collective money there and depositing it in the government treasury. Once when he deposited the collection, however, a balance of 2 lakh Kandanas of conchal was due from him. Therefore, the king demanded this sum. So that money was missing. Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka replied, there is no money. I can immediately give you in cash. Please give me time. Gradually, I shall purchase and sell my gross goods, and in this way will fill your treasury. There are 10 to 12 good horses. Take them immediately for a proper price. After saying this, he brought all the horses to the door of the king. One of the princes knew how to estimate the price of the horse very well, and thus the king sent for him to come with his ministers and friends. The prince, however, purposely gave a reduced estimate for the value of horses, because they were jealous of him. When Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka heard the price quoted, he was very angry. That prince had a personal idiosyncrasy of turning his neck and facing the sky, looking here and there again and again. Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka criticized the prince. He was unafraid of the prince because the king was very kind towards him. Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka said, my horse never turn their head or look upward. Therefore, the price for them should not be reduced. Hearing this criticism, the prince became very angry. Going before the king, he made some false allegations against Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka. This Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, he said, is unwilling to pay the money due. Instead, he is squandering it under some pretext. If you issue an order, I can put him on ganja and thus realize the money. So the king replied, you can adopt whatever means you think is the best. Any device by which you can somehow or other realize the money is all right. Thus the prince went back and raised Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka onto a platform of ganja and spread sword below upon which to throw him. After hearing this explanation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied with affectionate anger, Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka does not want to pay the king the money that is due. The Lord said, how then is the king at fault in punishing him? Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka is in charge of collecting money on the behalf of the government, but he misappropriates it. Not fearing the king, he squanders it to see dancing girls. If one is intelligent, let him perform service to the government, and after paying the government, he can spend whatever money is left. At that time, another person came there in great haste, bringing the news that Vaninatha Raya and his entire family has been arrested. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the king must personally realize the money that is due. I am but a sannyasi, a member of the renounced order. What can I do? Now all the devotees headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and submitted the following plea. All the members of Ramananda Rai's family are your eternal servants. Now they are all in danger. So eternal servants, they are all, okay? Like when Ramananda Rai came, that's Vishaka Saki, then all his brothers, his father, they are all eternal associates. Now they are in danger. It's not befitting for you to be indifferent to them in this way. After hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke in an angry mode. You want to order me to go to the king? He said. Your opinion is that I should go to the king's palace and spread my cloth to beg money from him? Of course, a sannyasi or brahmana may beg for up to 5 gandas. But why should he grant the inappropriate sum of 2 lakh kahanas of conchals? Then another person came with the news that Gopīnātha had already been set up to be thrown upon the points of sword. Hearing this news, all the devotees again appealed to the Lord, but the Lord replied, I'm a beggar. It's impossible for me to do anything about this. Therefore, if you want to save him, you should all pray together at the lotus feet of Jagannath. Now, Jagannath is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He possesses all potencies. Therefore, he is able to act freely and can do and undo whatever he likes. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing like the human-like pastime. It's like, I'm not nobody. They know he is God, but he is not ready to accept it. Avatar nahi kahe ami avatar. Avatar will never say, I am God. He never say, I am God. In fact, he'll close his ears and run. So he says, go to Jagannath and pray. Ishvara Jagannathayanra hati sarva artha kartum akartum anyata karite samartha. So he told you, go there and pray. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied in this way, an officer named Harichandan Napatra went to the king and spoke with him. After all, he said, Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka is your faithful servant. To condemn a servant to death is not good behavior. His only fault is that he owes some money to the government. If he is killed, however, what profit will there be? The government will be the loser, but it will not get the money. It would be better to take the horses for a proper price and let him gradually repay the balance. Why are you killing him unnecessarily? King answered in surprise, I did not know about all this. Why should his life be taken? I only want the money from him. Go there and adjust everything. I want only the payment, not his life. So the king didn't order it. It's actually that prince who took personal revenge. Harichandana then returned and informed the prince of the king's desire, and immediately Gopinath Paṭṭanāyaka was taken down from the Kancha. Then he was told that the king demanded the money due to him and asked what means he would adopt to pay it. Kindly take my horses, he replied, for a proper price. I shall gradually pay the balance as I can. Without consideration, however, you were going to take my life. What can I say? Then the government took all the horse for a proper price. A time was set for payment of the balance, and Gopinath Paṭṭanāyaka was released. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from the messenger, what was Vaninatha doing when he was arrested and brought there? The messenger replied, he was fearlessly, insistently chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's why he got arrested. He counted the chants on the fingers of both hands, and after he had finished chanting 1,000 times, he would make a mark on his body. Hearing this news, the Lord was very pleased. Who can understand the mercy of the Lord upon his devotees? At that time, Kashi Mishra came to the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord talked with him with some agitation. I cannot stay here any longer, the Lord said. I shall go to Alanatha. There are too many disturbances here, and I cannot get any rest. I think it's that same place, Alanatha, where after the Snani Yatra, the Lord's Jagannath is not giving darshan, and Mahaprabhu goes to Alanatha to take darshan of the Lord. All the family members of Bhavananda Raya are engaged in governmental service, but they spend the government's revenue in various ways. What is the fault on the part of the king? He wants the government's money. However, when they are punished for failing to pay the government its due, they come to me to release them. When the king put Gopinath Paṭṭanāyaka on the Kancha, messengers came 4 times to inform me about the incident. As a beggar sannyasi, a mendicant, I wish to live alone in a solitary place, but these people come to tell me about their unhappiness and disturb me. Jagannath has saved him once from death today. But if tomorrow he again does not pay what he owes at treasury, who will give him protection? If I hear about the activities of materialistic persons, my mind becomes agitated. There is no need for me to stay here and be disturbed in that way. So he don't want to know about the activities of materialistic people. Kashi Mishra caught hold of Lord's lotus feet and said, why should you be agitated by these affairs? You are a renounced sannyasi. What connections do you have? One who worships you for some material purpose is blind to all knowledge. So we should not worship the Lord for material purpose. Because anyway, Krishna is giving. Kashi Mishra continued, if one engages in devotional service for your satisfaction, this will result in increasing awakening of the dormant love for you. But if when engaged in your devotional service for material purpose, you should be considered a number 1 fool. Why? Because we are asking temporary things from the Lord. The Lord can give you moksha, Krishna prema, but we are asking temporary things. It's only for your sake that Ramananda resigned from the governorship of South India and Sanatana Goswami gave up his post as minister. It is for your sake that Raghunath Das gave up all his family relationship. His father sent money and men here to serve him. Raghunath Das Goswami. However, because he had received the mercy of your lotus feet, he does not even accept his father's money. Instead, he eats by begging alms from centers for the distribution of food. Gopinath Paṭṭanāyaka is a good gentleman. He does not desire material benefits from you. It's not Gopīnātha who sent all those men so that you would release him from his plight. Rather, his friends and servants, seeing his distressed condition, inform you because they all knew that Gopinath is a soul surrendered to you. Gopinath Paṭṭanāyaka is a pure devotee who worships you only for your satisfaction. So this is what Anya Bilashita Shunyam means, like no other desire, just to satisfy the Lord. He does not care about his personal happiness or distress, for that is the business of a materialist. One who engages in your devotional service 24 hours a day, desiring only your mercy, will very soon attain the shelter of your lotus feet. Tumhara anukampa chahe bhaje anukshana, achirate mile tanre tumhara charana. One who seeks your compassion and thus tolerates all kind of adverse condition due to karma of his past deeds, who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words, and body, and who always offer obeisances unto you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for becoming your unalloyed devotee. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Tattena kambam susamikshamanam punjana eva prakritam vipakam kritva papupir vidata namaste jive re mukti pade sadayabak. Dayabak means he's capable of becoming dayabak. Dayabak is the word means he's capable or he's eligible to get the mercy. Tatte Anukamba. So they are waiting for the mercy of the Lord. Gunjane evatma kridam vibhagam. So much karma, bad karmas keep happening, but still a devotee is fixed in devotional service and he keeps on worshipping the Lord. Then he'll get mukti, he'll get liberation, he'll become the eligible candidate. Okay, so that's from Bhagavatam 10th canto. Kindly stay here at Jagannath Puri. Why should you go to Alanatha? Henceforward, no one will approach you about material affairs. Finally, Kashi Vishra told the Lord. So this, when I'm talking about material affairs, does anyone know what Gaurakishwaradas Babaji used to do? When people come with material desires, what does he do? Does anyone know? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's guru. No? When somebody goes, like people, yeah, Suresh Prabhu, you know?
Thakur.
What?
Bhakti Vedanta Thakur.
Gaurakishwaradas Babaji, I'm asking. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's guru.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, he used to go to the washrooms and he used to chant the holy name of the Lord there.
Yeah.
So that nobody can come and disturb him.
Yeah, so this is what he used to do. Because he's thinking material things are so dirty, I don't want to hear it. Better than that is a public toilet. He used to go to the public toilet and sit there and lock the toilets and sit and chant the holy name because he's a Babaji and people all keep going to him for material things and he doesn't like it. So here it is said, Mahaprabhu saying, I am also going because I don't want people to ask for material affairs. Even when Prabhupada was visiting different places now, especially in India, they used to go to get all blessings from Prabhupada. Now all material blessings, and Prabhupada didn't like it at all. Yeah, public toilet is not a clean place, but Gaurakishwaradas Babaji says the materialistic, the karmi's heart is more dirty than the public toilet. Why? Because it has all the anarthas and it all have so much material desires to become rich and famous and all. And he's like, that's more dirty than a public toilet. So that's his comparison. Because it's not clean. Only if it's clean, Krishna will come and reside there. No? Finally, Kashi Mishra told the Lord, if you want to give protection to Gopinath, then Lord Jagannath, who protected him today, will also protect him in the future. After saying this, Kashi Mishra left the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and returned to his own temple. At noon, King Prataparudra came to Kashi Mishra's home. As long as King Prataparudra stayed in Purushottama, he performed one regular duty. He would come daily to the house of Kashi Mishra to massage his lotus feet. The king would also hear from him about how opulently Lord Jagannath was being served. When the king began pressing his lotus feet, Kashi Mishra informed him about something through hints. My dear king, he said, please hear one uncommon item of news. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to leave Jagannath Puri and go to Alanatha. When the king heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Alanatha, he was very unhappy and inquired about the reason. Kashi Mishra informed him of all the details. When Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka was lifted into the Ganja, he said all his servants went to inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hearing about this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was extremely sorry at heart, and in anger, he chastised Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka. Because he is mad after sense gratification, the Lord said he acts as a government servant but spends the government's revenue for various sinful activities. The revenue of the government is more sacred than the property of a Brahmana. One who misappropriates the government's money and uses to enjoy sense gratification is most sinful. One who serves the government but misappropriates the government's revenue is liable to be punished by the king. This is the verdict of all revealed scriptures. The king wanted his revenue paid and did not want to enforce punishment. Therefore, the king is certainly very religious, but Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka is a great cheat. He does not pay the revenue to the king, but he wants my help for release. This is a greatly sinful affair. I cannot tolerate it. Therefore, I shall leave Jagannath Puri and go to Alanatha, where I shall live peacefully and not hear about these affairs of materialistic people. When King Prataparudra heard all these details, he felt great pain in his mind. I shall give up all that is due from Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, he said, if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will stay here at Jagannath Puri. If even for a moment I could get an interview with the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I would not care for the profit of millions of Chintamani stones. I do not care about his small sum of 2 lakh kahanas. What to speak of this? I would indeed sacrifice everything at the lotus feet of the Lord, including my life and kingdom. Kashi Mishra hinted to the king, hindered. It is not the Lord's desire that you forfeit the payment. He is unhappy only because the whole family is troubled. The king replied, I had no desire to give pain to Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka and his family, nor did I know about his being lifted into the Ganga to be thrown on the swords and killed. He sneered at Purushottam Jana. Therefore, the prince tried to scare him a punishment. Go personally to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and keep him at Jagannath Puri with great attention. I shall excuse Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka from all his debts. Kashi Mishra said, excusing Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka of all his debts will make the Lord unhappy, but that is not his intention. The king said, I shall absolve Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka of all his debts, but don't speak of this to the Lord. Simply let him know that all the family members of Bhavananda Rai, including Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, are naturally my dear friends. So much love King Prataprudra have towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is ready to do all these things so that Mahaprabhu stays in Puri. Bhavananda Raya is worthy of my worship and respect. Therefore, I am always naturally affectionate to his sons. After offering obeisance to Kashi Mishra, the king returned to his palace and called for both Gopīnātha and the eldest prince. The king told Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, you are excused for all the money you owe the treasury, and the place known as Malajati Dantabata is again given to you for collections. Do not again misappropriate the revenue of the government. In case you think your salary is insufficient, henceforward it will be doubled. See, he is ready to pay double salary so that Mahaprabhu stays. After saying this, the king appointed him by offering him a silken wrapper for his body. Go to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said. After taking permission from him, go to your home. I bid you farewell. Now you may go. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one can certainly become spiritually advanced. Indeed, no one can estimate the result of his mercy. So if we want to be spiritually advanced, we should have the mercy of Mahaprabhu. And how is it possible? By chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. I think we can stop here, 108, and we'll continue from tomorrow. So this is about Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka. Okay. And who was Bhavananda Rai? This is Ramananda Rai's father. In Krishna Lila, who was Bhavananda Rai? Does anyone know? Oh, yes.
Arjuna.
Yes,
That is Ramananda Rai. Bhavananda Rai, his father.
Bhavananda.
Who was Bhavananda Rai?
Pandu Mata.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, mother, thank you. Okay, so we'll stop here. But Gopīnātha Paṭṭanāyaka, anything to add? No? Okay.
Who is Bhavananda Rai Mataji?
Pandu, King Pandu.
King Pandu. Okay. Okay.
Because he's Arjuna. No?
Okay.
So all associates have come here. See, all those who are in Dwapara Yuga came in Kali Yuga and was in the pastime. So it is said when we get liberation and we go, first we'll go to the pastime of the Lord, either in Goloka, wherever it is, Vaikuntha, wherever it is, based on our devotional service and bhav which we develop, we go to that particular pastime. So we don't know. We can also get involved in Krishna's pastime. But then that requires a lot of sadhana and a lot of bhakti, right? Only the devotees who's in bhava stage or prema stage can go there. But see, you can see how all associates came and different role they take and just to do the pastime so that they can enjoy with the Lord, take pleasure. Okay.
Mataji, in all Puranas, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance is being mentioned. So disappearance is also being mentioned because we are reading the Adi Anta Lila, na? So that's why this question came in the mind that in the Purana about his disappearance also is mentioned.
Oh, you're asking. Yeah, actually it's mentioned, but then devotees doesn't like to talk about it. But disappearance in the sense that Tota Gopinath temple. So it seems that is over the knee joint over here. There is a crack, which it is said Mahaprabhu just went. It's also said that he went into Jagannath Puri temple and then he was not seen. But it's not completely true because the Lord never disappears. We never say the sun died. The sun is always there. Just disappear from our sight. Now it's night here, but in America it will be day. Sun is always there. Only thing is we are not able to see. Similarly, Lord is always there, but we don't talk about his disappearance as such. He was ending his pastime and going back. That's it. So, but these are the two things where it is described that how the Lord ended his pastime.
And he played the role of devotee, na? He played the role of devotee and just taught us how to be in the Krishna consciousness and how we have to behave. And like in the brahmacharya also, how we have to take sannyasa. So like he just spent the 12 years, not more than 12 years in the Jagannath Puri. So
18 years,
is this is this also giving the message that the being the Krishna consciousness, we have to take the darshan of Jagannath?
No, not like that. Mahaprabhu is just showing his pastime that we have to worship Krishna in a separation form, in a Vipralamba bhav. Not like the Sakhi Devis or Sahajiyas always with Krishna. No, it's like in separation. So in Vipralamba bhav. So wherever you are, Mahaprabhu says, Thane Sthita Shruti Kada Tanvan Manapir, wherever you are, just be there and start worshipping. But yes, he's showing that Jagannath is also in Kali Yuga avatar or Daru Brahman, no? Patita Pavan. So, and it is mentioned that say Krishna, say Gaura, say Jagannath. All three are the same. But Krishna in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu form is more merciful because of combination with Radharani. And Jagannath is also merciful. It doesn't take any offense. You have to make nice bhog and give to Jagannath. That's it. Okay, it's not like we have to worship. But yes, Srila Prabhupada has given us Jagannath because of Radha Yatra. And ISKCON is having Radha Yatra all over the world. No? Before it was only in Puri and foreigners are not allowed there. But then Prabhupada brought Jagannath to the West and first Radha Yatra happened in San Francisco. So yes, it was Mahaprabhu also wanted us to worship Jagannath. In a sense, he's Radharani's mood, no? So he has to worship Jagannath. Okay? Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. But in Kali Yuga, we should definitely worship Gaurnitais. We have to worship Gaurnitais because they are more merciful and they deliver the fallen conditioned souls, especially in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna.